Right now on the National Weather Desk, deadly flooding. The Northeast assesses the damage after pounding rains and tornadoes caused devastation across several states.
So all our cars up there are flooded and our shops flooded.
While out west, excessive heat warnings have people looking for the best ways to stay cool.
People on the trails, people getting dehydrated.
You'll see how firefighters are facing the flash floods in New Mexico.
Well, normal creeks are turning into rivers, sweeping houses off their foundations and throwing cars into the water.
We'll look back on a powerful tornado that struck central Pennsylvania 20 years ago.
It's what I kind of refer to ground zero. Those two homes were completely to the foundation.
And tips to keep your devices from overheating this summer.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Jordan Evans. States across the Northeast and New England are still cleaning up this morning after the remnants of Hurricane Beryl brought flash flooding and tornadoes. The National Weather Service confirmed 5 tornadoes in western New York, a large number for that part of the country. At least one person died in Vermont as floodwaters washed out roads and homes, and this happened 1 year to date after catastrophic floodwaters devastated the state. We have team coverage this morning from New York, Vermont, and Maine. We begin with Adam Sullivan in the Green Mountain State.
Submerged cars at this auto body shop show the depth of the deluge.
So this whole street within an hour just flooded.
Alan Brink's business next door was unscathed, but other businesses north of downtown were not so lucky.
We have another shop in another town that flooded as well, so all our cars up there are flooded and our shops flooded.
To the south, Barnet also suffered a big blow. A huge washout surrounded the Barnet Village store, while a nearby Green Mountain Power hydroelectric plant was knocked offline. Further downriver, 2 houses took the brunt of the silt and debris.
Well, I'd gone to bed, and my neighbor called me and said water was running in his front door.
John Carpenter spent Thursday morning digging out his car. Power was also down, which knocked Morrison Custom Feed offline.
Feed's got to roll out here every day or animals are going to go hungry, so we have really no choice but to get power back.
A tranquil sky over Skaneateles Lake Thursday, looking over the destruction of what came just 24 hours earlier. The wind throwing a massive tree through a vacation home in the town of Niles, where thankfully no one was home.
We can go days without a call.
Wednesday, New Hope Fire Chief George Seaman says his volunteer corps responded to 12 calls, with the weather bringing down power lines and causing car accidents.
I'm standing in the crater that tree left behind when the wind knocked it over. The roots gripping onto this huge hunk of dirt and taking it, with the rest of the tree falling across the street, going right through that home.
The Swift River shot up 8 feet. But according to Maine DOT, the river didn't cause most of the damage here. It was from water rushing down the hills. North of Byron in Township E, a flash flood washed out the shoulder of Route 17 along with part of the highway. Maine DOT crews were here to start repairing the damage. The Swift River went from a trickle to flooding low-lying parts of Route 17 in Byron.
Looking up the river here, you didn't even see water. It was low as could be.
Kurt McLean says the rain started around 6 Wednesday evening with heavy downpours overnight.
By midnight, it was 3 feet deep in the road here.
But unlike the December 18th storm that caused widespread flooding and damage in the western mountains and foothills, crews say this overnight storm was more localized flooding.
The power crisis in Houston, Texas continues. This is now the 5th day. 1 million homes and businesses are without electricity. Half of them probably won't get power back until sometime next week. As temperatures stay hot, frustrations are rising, with food shortages and problems at hospitals and water treatment plants growing. Several deaths are blamed on the situation, including a woman who died after her oxygen machine ran out of battery power and her generator shut down. Flood watches are posted for portions of the East Coast today. That's because a low pressure system off the coast is expected to bring heavy rain throughout Saturday and today as well. There's a slight risk of flash floods today. From South Carolina to Connecticut, 1 to 3 inches of much needed rain could fall through the weekend, and that's good news because the region has been dealing with drought. You can see that need on the latest map from the U.S. Drought Monitor, which was released yesterday. A portion of the Carolinas is showing extreme drought. That's level 4 out of 5, along with southwest Texas and southern New Mexico. There's moderate drought in other places, including Virginia and North Carolina. Now compare this to 1 year ago. The Carolinas were drought-free. It was the plains and the Midwest that were suffering from that extreme drought. Now to the heat, where 51 million Americans are under some kind of heat alert today. And once again, the biggest issues are out west. Meteorologist Michael Ehrenberg has more.
There will be a little bit of a break in the East Coast on Friday, with feels-like temperatures going back down to the upper 80s, but soaring into the 90s with some 100s possible over much of the Gulf Coast as we head on into the first part of the weekend. A lot of this due to an upper-level high-pressure ridge, and summers are getting hotter due to global warming. Temperature trends since 1970 in just about all of the U.S. are trending hotter than average.
The extreme heat is causing big problems for anyone spending time outdoors. We have 2 reports, starting with meteorologist Chase Tomlinson in southern Utah.
It has been quite the heat wave lasting several days. It's going to last probably another day or 2 here in southern Utah. Eventually, though, this high pressure, this heat dome will be moving away, and temperatures will still stay hot, but at least the extreme heat will be over as we drop about 5 to 10 degrees. I want to show you, though, not only is the air temperature hot, and you got to drink plenty of water. I keep drinking bottles and bottles of water. I don't think it's enough, but it's the pavement as well. This is very dangerous for pets. 147 degrees on this asphalt. I've been measuring 140 to 160. Asphalt, concrete, just way too hot. So if you're going to be outdoors, do it in the morning. It's the coolest part. That's safer for your pets.
And it should come as no surprise that
out of options.
We're tired of working on puzzles and watching TV.
Searching for some way to stay out of the Las Vegas heat, which is why Thursday morning the Davises took a hike in Kyle Canyon.
Yeah, it's real nice, but we're ready to go find some air in the truck now.
And turns out the spring mountains aren't quite as refreshing as usual for this time of year. The summer heat wave in full effect.
You just go up high or go north, so that's what we do.
Captain Christopher Culver with the Mount Charleston Fire Protection District says his crews are averaging 1 to 2 rescues every day.
People on the trails, people getting dehydrated, and just not used to the elevation as well. Where we're at right now is about 7,400 feet of elevation, and that's going to exacerbate any underlying medical conditions as well.
In fact, on Wednesday, 4 hikers had to be helped down from the Deer Creek Trail after getting lost and running out of water. One patient, showing signs of heat exhaustion, had to literally be carried off the mountain.
And it should come as no surprise that this year's summer heat is breaking records. According to Europe Climate Change Service, June was the 13th consecutive month to break a global heat record. Scientists say heat waves are becoming the new normal. Flash flooding is still a concern in New Mexico as well, where recent wildfires left open burn scars on the land. They allow rivers of water to rip through the village of Reduso when it rains. Ariana Parra spoke with members of the El Paso Water Rescue Team to see how they're facing the challenges.
Black muddy water turning streets into raging rivers as strong floodwaters overtake the village of Ruidoso yet again this week. Bulldozing through homes, moving heavy metal dumpsters with ease, and smashing cars against anything that came across its path, leaving some people stranded.
You can see the water line on the houses back over there where the mud's at, how high this water actually rose up.
The El Paso Fire Department's water rescue team has been deployed to Ruidoso since late last month.
I can tell you that we've had multiple rescues. We operate at a high pace, high tempo, where we can effectively get in, clear that call, get them out of safety.
Brandon Kovac,
you can see where the water came up and over.
Assistant Water Coordinator.
And it went out of his banks and came right over here in this area. We ended up losing this property right here.
And one of 6 crew members from the Sun City says this is unlike anything they've experienced back home.
Normal creeks are turning into rivers, sweeping houses off their foundations and throwing cars into the water. This is just a completely different operation for us.
And when there isn't any rain or flooding?
The house over here is actually a house, came off its foundation and is actually shifting.
All efforts go to prepare for the next rainfall.
We pretty much did a lasso and a last-ditch effort to see if we can prevent it from sliding off.
And coming up, tips to help keep your devices safe and working in the extreme heat.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti. Look at the Northeast. It's another nice looking day in the Northeast with temperatures surging back into the 80s. We'll have elevated humidity. Our hot and humid summer continues in the Northeast. Let's take a look at how this goes down today. Notice a lot of sunshine out there. Our best chance for a passing shower is probably in southern New England. Maybe a brief shower is possible there in parts of northern New England, particularly in the mountains. We'll get around a steady rain that moves into New England on Saturday. Sunday is looking brighter and hot again.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. A stalled front's going to bring good chances of rain all across the Mid-Atlantic here. We're going to keep those rain chances most of the day, but likely going to see some of that tapering a bit as we move towards your evening. Your Saturday is looking pretty dry. That's the good news, but temperatures on Friday, as a result of that rainfall, keep those numbers a lot lower than what we have seen in the days past. Mid-80s if we're lucky. At worst, it'll only get to that point, and low to mid-90s on Saturday.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs for the day. We're looking at 97 degrees in Macon, about 94 in Mobile, 90 in West Palm, Jacksonville about 97 degrees, Nashville 95. So we're looking at those temperatures on the hot side of things going through the day. A few spotty showers up around Raleigh, the D.C. Metro along I-95, stretching down through Richmond. It looks like we're going to continue to see a few of those showers moving in from this coastal low that's going to continue to plague the coast and parts of the Delmarva.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Some Hawaiian residents are standing by to evacuate as the Crater Road fire continues to spread in the Maui area. Authorities say the fire, which started Wednesday, has scorched at least 420 acres. Right now, it's about 25% contained, and they say because of the rising temperatures, strong winds, low humidity, that dry vegetation too, they're all causing concern. The fire comes as the state prepares to mark the one-year anniversary of the Lahaina disaster, which claimed 102 lives. In Washington state, they are trying to prevent scenes like this by issuing a burn ban. Paul Rivera has the details.
Take a look around me. There's a whole lot of vegetation that can burn in this hot weather. That's why this statewide burn ban is now in effect. Washington DNR says on land like this, which they manage, burning is not allowed of any kind.
I think this is going to be another difficult fire season.
How do you enforce the burn ban? How do you stop people from doing things that they're not supposed to?
This is an area that is difficult. I'll be honest. We have about 12 law enforcement officers to manage and cover over 6 million acres of land.
Franz said they're counting on people to do the right thing. That said, their firefighters and equipment are already out and working. For wildfires, you say you're ready.
We are more ready than ever before.
Most fires are caused by people, so you play a big part in keeping where we live safe and fun this summer.
When tornadoes, hurricanes, and other severe storms happen, trees are among the casualties. In Washington, D.C., this week, part of a large tree gave way, killing a woman. But it happened when it was hot and dry outside. So how did the weather play a role? Rebecca Turco has more.
Limb by limb, this mighty oak tree is coming down after part of it fell on a woman this morning, killing her. Police say she'd been out with her husband and her dog here at Garfield Park when it happened. We're told firefighters had to cut through several large branches just to reach her. She was pronounced dead at the scene.
I could see this happening in a windstorm. I'm surprised it happened.
It's a shock to the people who walk through this park every day. District forestry officials called it an unforeseeable event, saying they inspected and pruned this tree last 2 years ago, rating it in good condition. But local certified arborist Chris Odell says he sees the warning signs, even with just a quick once-over.
Yes, the tree looked healthy. It's green. From what I can see here, I don't see any major dead branches, but going structurally, as you follow that limb back to the trunk, you'll see that included bark pattern.
Chris believes the tree rotted from the inside, thanks in part to this extended dry weather. He says he's been getting more and more calls about fallen limbs.
They can take a lot of abuse, but once you start depleting all the water out of the ground and really starting to dry things out, you're going to see a lot more trees start to get brittle and break.
I asked district forestry officials if they think the drier weather contributed here. The associate director wouldn't speculate as they work to determine the cause.
This is a healthy limb, seeming apparently, all outward appearance, attached to a healthy tree that abruptly, tragically, and suddenly failed.
Sunday marks 20 years since a powerful F3 tornado tore through Campbelltown, Pennsylvania. Winds estimated between 175 and 200 miles per hour cut a path of destruction nearly 8 miles long, damaging or destroying dozens of homes. But remarkably, no one died. Candace Scalise spoke with one of the survivors about the rare event.
An F3 tornado came barreling down his street, damaging his home and destroying his neighbors.
And my mom was home with our two daughters, which were 4 and 22 months. I closed my eyes, said a little prayer. I had a circle around the block. I got here as quick as I could.
Fortunately, they were all okay, but the homes on his block were not.
Quigley tells me you could see the path of the tornado based on the destruction. It passed through between these two homes behind me, destroying the tan one. And then it came this way. It hit both of the homes next to his, missed his home, and then it kept on going.
At the end of the street is what I kind of refer to ground zero. Those two homes were completely to the foundation.
Was there any kind of warning that it was coming?
No, I think they did put a warning out, but I never heard it.
Never heard it. You didn't know to expect something like this?
No, I just thought it was a typical central PA severe thunderstorm. They had a gutter house the whole way, everything had to come down to the studs.
And his neighbors had to rebuild.
The neighbors have a fence next door, and it just took that fence right out, and that's their car and what would be their garage.
As heat continues to bake large sections of the country, this morning we have some advice on how to keep both your phone and your house cool. We'll start at home, where the setting on your thermostat can mean the difference of hundreds of dollars on your energy bill. Reno, Nevada reporter Sophie Lincoln has more.
One of the most common misconceptions with thermostats is that they have to work harder to cool down the house at night after you've set it to a higher heat during the day. In actuality, NV Energy experts say the most efficient system is to let your home cool down in the morning, turn it off while you're out during the day, and then raise the temperature at night. With modern thermostats, if you raise the temperature to 85 degrees at night, it likely won't actually get that hot if it's set to cool. It's more so to give the thermostat a break from the energy it takes to cool the house.
Once you start going below 78, you start to exponentially increase your power bill. That isn't just a number that the power company comes up with. That is done on climate studies for northern Nevada. So every degree below 78 is just a huge impact on the bill. And when you start to decline too much from that, you can really expect to see an increase.
Now to your phone, which you probably know by now can easily overheat if left in the sun or extreme temperatures for too long. Rudy got advice from an expert at AT&T.
With inland areas hitting triple-digit temperatures, our smartphones, laptops, tablets, and other electronic devices need extra care to function properly. That means avoid leaving them in your car on a warm day.
We definitely want to avoid those things and try to bring your devices to an area where there's some shade. And yeah, for the long term, that could definitely affect how your device runs, and we know how important it is for everyone, right, to have your devices at all times, especially for when we need them.
AT&T provided tips including keeping devices out of direct sunlight, avoiding leaving them in hot cars, cooling them down by taking them out of their case, and closing unnecessary apps.
Something that we definitely recommend, not just for your cell phone or your tablet, but other electronic devices, is to leave those out of the car because, again, those temperatures could get really hot inside the car and can damage any type of electronic device inside.
Giving devices a break to cool down is urgent after overheating, but this does not mean to put your devices inside of a freezer to cool down, as it could cause more damage.
Having a transitional period is very important because we're taking our device from extreme heat to all of a sudden super cold, and we don't want to do that. That we could cause some other type of damage to the phone. So having a transitional period as you walk into a cooler area, it would definitely help.
And as we go to break, a look at ferries crossing the Puget Sound near Edmonds, Washington.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. High temperatures in the upper 80s, if not the 90s for some of us. Wichita, you're expected to get up to around 100 today, and a few isolated showers and storms across the Midwest. Looks like a little better chance for some rain. Trying to move its way and up to Minnesota as we head into Saturday. Most of us, though, are still going to be staying hot as we head through your entire weekend. A lot of 90s. Matter of fact, the only place that's not in the 90s would be either triple digits or Grand Rapids, 89 Sunday.
Good Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DeCarlo. Look at our forecast across the region. We'll start off in the 70s this morning. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms closer to the coast from San Antonio to Corpus Christi to Houston. As we head throughout the afternoon, we'll have more scattered showers and thunderstorms developing, especially near the Gulf of Mexico, with highs in the 80s closer to the coast. Otherwise, low to mid 90s, a lot of sunshine across West Texas into Oklahoma. Falling back into the 70s overnight, we'll track a scattered shower chance Saturday afternoon as well.
Well, hi there, everybody, and TGIF Friday morning. And here out west, we're still cooking. Big heat dome, big ridge of high pressure over the top of the west. That'll take us to 106 today in Boise, 100 in teens for Las Vegas and for Phoenix yet again. And look at Denver in on the heat at 102 in the mile high. Again, it's a big, stubborn area of high pressure, has a grip on the four corners, not going to loosen up anytime soon. And that's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
The sun and clouds can produce many optical phenomena, such as sundogs and sun halos. Meteorologist Emily Santum explains.
Take a look now. That large circle or halo around the sun is just how it looks, a sun halo. Often referred, though, as a 22-degree sun halo. They occur when ice crystals in thin cirrus clouds refract the sunlight. Now, what about that smaller rainbow arc just on your screen right now, just below the sun halo? That's actually the infralateral arc, which is extremely rare. It usually appears as a portion of a larger halo that's about 2 times the distance away from that sun halo. It's made from the exact same way that sun halo is also formed, through light refraction. It also appears as a faint rainbow of light located under the sun's base. It's actually based on the sun's position in the sky. So it's right here, very, very faint, but it definitely is there.
We'd love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm meteorologist Jordan Evans. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.